it will be devastating, not only for our office, for the community. As it is, we do not have enough courtroom space. We have cases that are being delayed sometimes years. I mean, if you look at our homicide backlog, we have cases that are 4, 5, 6 years old. A closure of any courts is going to further impact this. A closure of as many courts as it's been stated, it would be devastating to our criminal justice process. Well, I mean, I think the real world implications are that we're going to have to prioritize cases if that were to occur, and you're going to see a lot of the lower level offenses, if they cannot be handled through neighborhood courts or through some other process, they may not be handled at all. If you're looking at a continuum, looking at violent crimes on one end of the spectrum and looking all the way down to the lowest level property crimes on the other end, obviously if you have such a limited space, you're going to have to start prioritizing what cases actually will go to court. The problem for that, it would be devastating to public safety in our community. A lot of the people that engage in low-level offenses sometimes also engage in more serious offenses, so the lack of consequences for bad behavior will have a tendency to create a lesser order, if you will, public order, and that will impact public safety overall. It is not necessarily the severity of punishment concerning any crime that is a deterrent. Is a certainty that there will be some consequences to your actions and that the consequences are timely. When you start creating a situation where cases are less likely to be looked at and there are less consequences, then you're going to have the deterrence level of the criminal justice system, it starts to decrease. And of course, it would all depends. I mean, we're speculating because we don't know whether this is going to happen and to what level, right? So you would have to start, at this point, we're taking a lot of the really low-level stuff, like shoplifting and vandalism, low-level drug offenses and prostitution. We're trying to put them right into neighborhood court. So we're already trying to take some of that workload from the regular criminal courts in order to provide the space for our courtrooms to function better. You have other offenses that are somewhere in the middle range. You got the burglary and you got the strong-arm robberies, or even a robbery, without injuries, right? And then you start moving that down that continuum where you start having assaults and injuries and armed robberies and rapes and assaults, right? We can take a lot of the lower-level stuff, put in neighborhood courts, but this other mid-level stuff, it starts to become more difficult because that stuff generally would not be appropriate to be taken into a neighborhood court. They need a courtroom. And that's where you're going to see the gap.